I recognize the author of the bill, the member from Dakota, Representative Halverson, to explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. And I will apologize for the scheduling change on this bill. Everybody was here prepared to debate it a couple weeks ago, and I got the flu the night before we were going to debate it. I haven't had the flu since I was a kid and don't recommend it, so I didn't want any of you all to get it. And so I stayed home to get better. And then my kid got it. So it's been an exciting week at the Halverson House, and it feels so apropos that today I'm going to talk about why we need time to care for ourselves and others in the state of Minnesota. Members of the House DFL caucus have been traveling the state for the past several years, talking to Minnesotans from all over the state, from all walks of life, from all political parties, to find out what's really on the minds of Minnesotans. We hear so often in our campaigns and going door to door and here at our offices what Minnesotans are facing. And we wanted to go out to Minnesotans and talk to people not with partisan labels, not with geographic labels, but really connecting about what makes us Minnesotans and what's important to us as a state. And we learned a lot from Minnesotans. We heard that Minnesotans love our state. It's probably not a surprise. I hear a lot of love for our state here on the House floor. We also hear that Minnesotans care a lot about one another, and they care a lot about the success and the security of their neighbors. But too many Minnesotans don't have access to affordable health care. Too many Minnesotans feel insecure in our health care system. And we heard that when we went out to visit with people too. Didn't matter if you were left or right, if you were rural or from the Twin Cities, from a suburb like me. These concerns from Minnesotans were real and consistent. And even folks who have good health care, this is to me is one of the most surprising things we heard, have good access to health care, feel insecure about their ability to keep it and continue to have access to affordable health care. And a lot of that is tied to their work and their jobs. If something goes wrong in their lives, are they going to be able to keep their jobs? If something goes wrong in their lives, are they going to be able to keep a paycheck? We also know that Minnesota families are struggling to find affordable child care, and it's something that we talk about in this body a lot. We also know that Minnesota families can't access the mental health care that they need, and very often, especially when it comes to children's mental health care, they have to access health care outside of our state, only to learn that they have to come back to work in order to maintain their health care instead of be with their child who is hospitalized outside of the state of Minnesota. And we also hear about people in this sandwich generation who are finding it really hard to be sure that their elders are well cared for. We hear about financial abuse of older Minnesotans. We hear about the need for older Minnesotans to have to spend time in institutions and respite care instead of being in their own home if they have a fall, break a hip, get ill. Minnesotans are struggling. And Minnesotans have told us repeatedly how they're struggling. And they've asked the Minnesota legislature to take action to help relieve the struggle, to help make sure that they can prosper and that they can advance the wonderful values of our state, that we care about one another, that we love our state. And so I'm really proud to be able to bring paid family medical leave back to the floor. We've heard this. We've had 10 or 11 committee hearings. We have had many hours debate on this when it was in the jobs bill last year. But it's back to have a standalone conversation. It is that important. Minnesotans deserve economic security. Minnesotans work hard. Minnesotans work multiple jobs in many cases. And they deserve security for themselves and for their families. So House File 5 creates a program of affordable access for all Minnesota employers to provide up to 12 weeks of partial wage replacement in the case of a qualifying medical condition, or 12 weeks of up to 12 weeks of time off from work, partial wage replacement, if you need to care for a loved one or if you bring a new baby into your family. The program is based on the state's very successful UI system, unemployment insurance system that's been in place for 80 years. And employers have the flexibility to scale the program as their needs, to meet their needs. So an employer who chooses to provide a private program of paid family leave, as long as it's comparable and pays out in the same manner, in the same way, can provide a private plan and opt out of a state program. If an employer has a short-term disability policy or wants to purchase in the private market a short-term disability policy that pays out at the same rate or greater than the state plan, they can provide that for their employees. However, if they have that but don't have a family leave program in place, they can opt into half the program. And of course, employers who don't have the ability to offer this benefit are the reason that we're here talking about it in large part, because we know that there are small employers in this tight labor market who are trying really hard to find qualified employees. Small tech startups, which Minnesota is well known for, watch potential employees and current employees walk out the door to a large Minnesota employer who can provide paid family leave. Large employers have been investing in paid family leave for many, many years because it gives you a competitive advantage when you are looking for employees. It gives you a competitive advantage when you're trying to retain employees, those folks that you've invested in and trained. But a lot of Minnesota small employers don't have that economy of scale and aren't able to do that. So do you know what they do because they love their employees, because Minnesotans care about one another? They very often will pay for it out of their own family's budget, and I've talked to many employers who have done that. I heard my employee, who I love and has been with us for years, had a baby, and she needed time off to recover from having a baby. She needed time off to care for her baby, and we paid for it, but we paid for it out of our family budget because we are a small business and we didn't have a policy in place. And we've talked to employers who have said, I've got such dedicated employees that I can't afford to lose them. But they had a slip and fall on the great ice in Minnesota and broke a bone and needed to recover from that accident and from surgery. So we know that Minnesota employers need to be competitive in this market, and this provides them a way to do this. But more importantly, we know that Minnesotans need to feel economically secure when they're at work. Minnesotans need to feel economically secure to be great parents. Minnesotans need to feel economically secure to prosper in their lives. And this provides economic security for Minnesota workers, for people who get up and go to work every day and work real hard and might have a bad run of luck. And let me ask you, if you have a bad run of luck, like one woman who testified at our committee, who was 35 years old and a teacher, whose husband was diagnosed with a fatal brain tumor, and she wanted to be with him and care for her husband while he died and be with their 2 preschool-aged children and have their family together while her husband died. Instead, she had to go to work because she couldn't afford the time off and she couldn't afford to lose her health insurance. What do we tell her about her juggling her need to be with her husband who's going to die and saying you don't get to say goodbye the way that you want to because we're not going to care about your economic security? And what do we say to the mom, to the 1 in 4 moms in the state of Minnesota who have a baby and go back to work within 2 weeks of delivery? What do we say to them about their need to be healthy, about their economic security, about the health of their newborn baby, about the health of themselves? We spend a lot of money. Minnesota has really, really bad outcomes right now on maternal health and childbirth. And when you look at our country compared to the rest of the world, we are one of the worst in the developed world on maternal health and babies when it comes to health outcomes. Why? We're one of the 2 or 3 countries in the world, it changes from time to time, that don't have paid family medical leave. We don't have time to care for brand new babies. We don't have time for moms to get to bond with their baby, to make sure that they can nurse if they choose to make sure that they can physically recover from giving birth. Everybody stop and think about the people in your life or yourselves who have had to do that work. Why are we okay with a mom going back to work in 2 weeks? And do we tell her that her economic security and her health and her life and the welfare of her child is not important? We don't. We can't. And what do we say to the person in Greater Minnesota where we find, according to the University of Minnesota, these policies are less available and more needed? When they get a cancer diagnosis, and instead of getting to take care of themselves, recover from chemo treatment, which is anybody has been through it, I know people in this room have, instead of doing that and staying away from coworkers who could get them sick and give them an infection that will kill them, instead of saying we're going to care about your health and your well-being and your economic security, we're going to give them no option but to go into work and risk their lives and risk the economic security of themselves and their families. That's not the Minnesota way. Minnesotans care about one another. And so House File 5 is here because we need to be sure that our workers are healthy. We need to be able to be sure that our employers can compete for talent right here in our state. And we need to be sure that everybody in Minnesota has the time to care. Thank you, Madam Speaker.